Hello, this is the TradeSite Stocks and Futures Market Preview and Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Monday the 24th of June going into Friday the 28th. This will be the end of the quarter already, second quarter here in the U.S. Unbelievable. Here's a look at the S&P daily chart. We're going to talk about this first, then we'll look at some of the intraday action this week on the futures, and we'll talk about what's ahead for here in the markets. But again, if you've been following our analysis, we've been waiting for this trend line to break, confirm, retest on a turn back up, and then fail there and roll. And that's what we finally got right here this last week or so. The real break was over a week ago, but then the turn back up took us on the Tuesday back to retest. We basically closed right on the line, maybe a point or two above it. Rolled over Wednesday and dropped sharply after the Fed announcement, and then gapped down Thursday and kept going. That took us right back to this static trend line from the last 9-bar move up, so that's pretty technical action right there. But this is a confirmed break now on volume, no less, of the trend line. So this bodes well for the shorts and not so good for the bulls. We've maybe fallen away from that 1625 area. We'll see if the ES 131250 comes back into play at some point in time. Also, you'll notice if we look at the NASDAQ, the NDX 100, we got the 13 seeker sell signal here on the daily just over about 2 weeks ago, and that's sort of been the high ever since that point. The risk line for it is the pink line. So definitely things are rolling over. Now, again, because the uptrend was so long, we can retrace a lot of it and not do really any damage to the market compared to what we've seen price-wise over the last year or two. So that doesn't make all this super harmful. It just means that we're going to be making our money on the short side instead of the long side probably here in the near future. Now here's a look at the ES in 15-minute bars so you can see the week. And as you can tell, Monday we got a gap up, almost filled the gap. Tuesday we curled a little higher, but we're mostly flat, just a drift. Wednesday dead flat until that Fed announcement and started to swing the market, and then they crushed it. That came back, and then Thursday morning we gapped down, and you'll notice that on the 15-minute time frame we got a Comer and a seeker buy signal here real late on Thursday. Led to a little gap up, a little curl, and then a gap up Friday. Friday was triple expiration, okay, so we weren't going to really go anywhere probably no matter what else was going on, and sure enough, look at the close on Friday versus the close on Thursday, basically a flat session on the ES minis. So, again, I think we've got this confirmation. I think we got to be looking for downward movement in the market as good opportunities for shorting and sticking with those trades. And of course, if you have been holding anything long, we've been warning you against it for a while in terms of longer term holds. But I definitely would be thinking about that a little bit at this point moving forward. Now, what are the focal points for this week? Well, there's a couple things. Let's start by looking at the actual data that's coming out, and then we'll talk about what else we're facing here. So there's no data on Monday at all, and that's fine. This is a complete week, so we don't have any of our major things that can get in the way in the sense of no Fed announcements. There's not a quarterly GDP number coming out that's important. There is a third look at GDP on Wednesday, but that's not usually a big deal. What we're going to be focused on here is that this is the end of the quarter. Friday is the last trading day of the first half, if you can believe that, first half of 2013. So we'll be coming back on Monday the 1st after that of July. And keep in mind that a lot of times the first day of a quarter, the market will try to hold itself to a certain point to end the quarter, get a little bit of what we call window dressing. They may not want this thing to roll over too sharply here in this next week, and then you may come in next week and have it really drop off, or vice versa. Maybe they're going to let it fall apart this week, and then we'll start to pick up already in a rally mode so they can get some low prices for the end of quarter here and build off of that in the third quarter. So you don't really know which way that'll play out, but typically the last day or two of the quarter is pretty flat once they get prices about where they want them. So again, no data on Monday. Tuesday we've got durable orders. We've got the Case-Shiller 20-City Index. We've got consumer confidence. That's a big number that can move the market around. It's expected at 74.9. We've got new home sales. On Wednesday, MBA mortgage index, the third look at GDP, not a big deal from Q1, and the crude oil inventories. On Thursday, initial and continuing jobless claims, that's our weekly number. Personal income and spending, PCE prices, pending home sales, natty gas. Friday, Chicago PMI, that's a big one, along with the second final look at Michigan sentiment for the month of June, which would be expected at 82.6. So again, end of quarter Probably a little slow on Friday. It's a summer Friday anyways. The other thing to keep in mind is that this week is a nice wide open full week with none of the biggest data, but some important data, and there's data every day except Monday. But next week's going to be a little different. Next week we will be starting the second quarter, but we've got the 4th of July holiday on a Thursday, unfortunately. So that means Friday is going to be a waste of time. Monday and maybe Tuesday we'll get some action. Probably Tuesday will be the better trading day that week. And then people will be heading out the door Wednesday. So having that holiday on a Thursday can really mess things up. But we're definitely going to be focused on the short side. We're going to be using all of our tools as usual on eSignal 11 here to try to spot trades. And every time those futures are pointing down, make sure you look on the short side because it could turn into a bigger move pretty quickly. A lot easier to make money on the short side when things are falling apart than it is to make money on the long side when things are going up. So a little bit of excitement from our perspective here to have this market finally rolling over a bit and give us some opportunities in a different direction. But we don't see it as being anything that's going to turn into a major disaster. But it's healthy to have pullbacks, and we'll have some good opportunities because of it in our trading lab. Have a good weekend.